Ron DeSantis has announced that he is suspending his campaign for president. In other words, it's off. His announcement was made on X a short time ago and comes after a disappointing second-place finish in last week's Iowa Republican caucuses, and has thrown his support behind Donald Trump now.
It's clear to me that a majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance. They watch his presidency get stymied by relentless resistance, and they see Democrats using lawfare this day to attack him. Well, I've had disagreements with Donald Trump, such as on the coronavirus pandemic and his elevation of Anthony Fauci. Trump is superior to the current incumbent, Joe Biden. That is clear.
OK, let's bring in our Washington correspondent now, Anneliese Nielsen. Anneliese, not all that surprising, this news, because it had been coming according to the polls, right? But still, it landed with a thud, didn't it? Because, what, a year ago, he was looking like he might oust Donald Trump?
Look, he was the guy, and this is why this is such an important race, and this is why these events still matter, because I know a lot of people have been treating this a bit like a coronation of Donald Trump, and sure, there's any indication he still will be the nominee, but these events do change depending on voter turnout and that kind of reaction. So we're here in a little town called Seabourn in New Hampshire, right on the coast, and so we were here for the event where Nikki Haley just came out right after that news came out that Ron DeSantis had suspended his campaign. She had a huge round of support in this room, huge round of applause from the people, I should say, and this is where this could be the factor where there's momentum coming into this race. New Hampshire is the state after Iowa. Donald Trump won 50% of the votes there plus, but half of those people wanted someone else. And so this is where New Hampshire might just change the race. This is a primary. This is more like a vote where people come in on election day and put their ballot in the box and decide who they want to be the Republican nominee for president. And now they effectively have two choices. There's more moderate voters in New Hampshire and there's more independent voters that are likely to go Nikki Haley's way. And this could be the first time that we see Donald Trump lose momentum in this campaign. So this could be really big for how this all plays out. And it all happens at little places like this Lobster Shack, where they go and shake hands with voters here, look them in the eye and tell them why they should support their campaign. That's what Nikki Haley was just doing just now. There's been a number of events over the weekend and Ron DeSantis was pulling back. He was cancelling events, and then it became all too clear that his whole campaign was being suspended. So this is why this is an important time in the campaign to watch. It ain't over until it's over, and there are still plenty of things moving.
OK, so, I mean, if we go back to the midterms, Anneliese, and that huge win by Ron DeSantis there, as I said in the first question, you know, it looked like he was going to be the guy who could potentially derail Donald Trump. For those who aren't into it as much as you and I are, what did he do wrong? What didn't work for Ron DeSantis?
Well, it's always the thing that at the end everyone wants to do the post-mortem and say, I always knew what was going to go wrong. I knew from the beginning. And it wasn't that much of a given. He had a lot of momentum behind him. He had huge support in Florida for how he'd handled the pandemic. But I think a few different things haven't played out. He hasn't been a natural on the campaign trail doing these retail politics stops, meeting voters face to face, and they pick up on that. And there's also just been this sense that a lot of people are running on grudges. And so, I mean, even the fact that Ron DeSantis launched his campaign on Twitter, that was seen as he already was coming in with a grudge to bear against the media. And so this is where Nikki Haley's carved out a bit more of a positive space, saying we're running on what we can be and not what we have been. And I've been to a lot of her events now, and it's very focused on future plans and not talking about the past people and what's happened. And that's something that differentiates her from Donald Trump as well. He's got so many legal cases through this campaign. I think Ron DeSantis actually really hit it on the nail when he hit the nail on the head when he kept saying, I'm not running for Donald Trump's issues, I'm running for your issues. That was something that really could have resonated, but just didn't quite hit the mark at the right time. OK, we can expect Ron DeSantis to have another go in 4 years' time, but it's still pretty big news this morning. Ron DeSantis, he is out of the 2024 campaign. Anneliese Nielsen, thank you so much. We will talk to you again soon.